From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. For decades, proponents of psychedelic drugs have come to Washington with a provocative message. Illegal, mind-altering substances like LSD and ecstasy should be approved for Americans grappling with depression, trauma, and other hard-to-treat conditions. A presidential administration finally seems to agree. This line of therapeutics has tremendous advantage if given in a clinical setting. We are working very hard to make sure that it happens within 12 months, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recently told members of Congress. His suggested timeline for green-lighting psychedelic therapy surprised even the most bullish supporters of the drugs, and it comes as psychedelics are making deep inroads in red states like Texas, where former Trump cabinet secretary and ex-governor Rick Perry has thrown his full support behind the effort. The administration's embrace of psychedelics has sparked both excitement as well as concern from those in the field who worry the drugs might be discredited if they appear to be rushed onto the market or are too closely linked with Kennedy, who is known for controversial views on vaccines, antidepressants, and fluoride. I'm quite optimistic, says Rick Doblin, whose organization has pursued the medical use of MDMA or ecstasy since the 1980s. But I'm also worried that the message the public might get is, well, RFK like psychedelics, and now it's approved. In other news from Trumpy-topia, the Justice Department has fired Maurene Comey, the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey and a prosecutor in the federal cases against Sean P. Diddy Combs and Jeffrey Epstein, two people familiar with the matter told the Associated Press on Wednesday. There was no specific reason given for her firing from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, according to one of the people who spoke to the AP on the condition of anonymity to discuss personnel matters. President Trump has tried to blame others as tensions rise around handling of the Epstein case. On Tuesday, he accused former presidents Barack Obama and Joe Biden, as well as former FBI Director James Comey, of making up the much-hyped, unreleased records in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case. Trump presented no evidence in claiming that Democrats and Comey tampered with documents related to Epstein's case. Comey was fired in 2017, 2 years before Epstein's arrest, and Obama was long gone from the White House by the time of Epstein's death. During Biden's presidency, the Justice Department put on trial an Epstein co-conspirator, but there is no indication that he or anyone from the White House had anything to do with that case. And finally, this budget news from Harrisburg. 2 weeks after the state budget deadline, lawmakers and Governor Josh Shapiro said they've made progress in negotiations as the Democratic-controlled House advanced a $50.6 billion proposal to the GOP-led Senate. It represents about a $900 million reduction in overall spending compared to Shapiro's $51.5 billion proposal in February. But Republican House leaders said the bill is a largely procedural document and that more work remains to be done. This is not agreed to, but we are pleased that talks are continuing, moving in a direction that, while it may seem slow, and in fact is slow and frustrating for many of us, we do believe there is some positive momentum, House Minority Leader Jesse Topper, a Republican from Bedford, said. The Democratic majority's lead budget negotiator, Appropriations Committee Chair Jordan Harris, a Democrat from Philadelphia, said lawmakers owe their constituents some progress. The folks have already waited too long, Harris said, noting that school districts across the Commonwealth were forced to pass their budgets without knowing how much state funding they will get. It is our responsibility to take a great step forward to show them that we are not only working, but that we are ready to do what is necessary to get them a spending plan. The General Appropriations Bill passed the House in a 105-97 vote with the support of Republican Representatives Thomas Mahaffey of Dauphin County, Kathleen Tomlinson of Bucks County, and Craig Williams of Delaware County. A spokesperson for Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman, the Republican from Indiana, Pennsylvania, echoed the House Republicans' view that the vote was primarily procedural and said the bill is not a finished product. That's the news for this hour. PEP Radio is now available on Alexa. Simply say to your device, Alexa, play PEP Radio. If you are watching our news videos on YouTube, be sure to leave us a comment and subscribe to our channel. Coming up, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.